Over the next 90 days, there's four software stocks that have asymmetric, unthinkable upside because they have been beat up over 50% in the last few months, and I feel like the market is getting this completely wrong. Let's dive into the first one, which is Adobe. You can see that Adobe in the last 5 years is down and to the right. Meanwhile, the profits, the earnings per share is going up and to the right. And you guys know by following this channel for the long term, the hands down number one thing that moves the price of a stock in the long term is going to be where the earnings per share goes. Adobe is moving in the opposite direction. EPS is going up and to the right, but the stock is going down. One of two things is going to happen on Adobe. I could pretty much guarantee it right now. You are either going to see earnings per share start to trend down because the market got it right. The market is projecting and pricing this in like the earnings per share is just going to drop off a cliff and go down. But if it doesn't, and it does actually continue to grow and go up and to the right, you are going to see an extreme rebound in Adobe's share price. If we look at this on a percentage basis to where the actual earnings per share growth line's at, this could be a 150% upside move just to get to where the actual earnings per share growth line's at. And if we take a look at this and we just look at this at the actual data of what Adobe's doing, revenue, Adobe, clearly going up and to the right from 2021 till right now. Earnings per share, clearly going up and to the right in a very, very consistent way. But the market is basically pricing in a doomsday scenario for Adobe. If we look at the fundamental valuation, a price earnings ratio level of 12, in my opinion, is pretty freaking insane when you have 13% year over year earnings per share growth with 10% revenue growth year over year also. Pretty good numbers right there. I'm not saying it's amazing, but it's pretty good in relation to a 12 for a price earnings ratio level. You guys know that I love to do my little water bottle example. That's like paying 12 bucks for this water bottle right here, and it's throwing off 1 year in profit per year, and those profits are increasing at 10% per year, actually 13% per year in the long term. So it might be compelling right now to buy Adobe. Now, if we click right here and we go to show estimates, you can see that since AI really started to go mainstream and everyone's starting to price it in, like what does this actually mean for software stocks? You can see that the estimates are actually very bearish, but they're actually beating estimates and staying with their trend line of EPS going up and to the right. So you can see that analysts are getting this very wrong right now. Analysts are panic and freaking out and saying, oh my God, the numbers are going to be really bad. Yet they continue to beat. The solid green numbers are the actuals. The hollow numbers right here are the estimates. So it's very bearishly priced right now at a fair valuation level. Now, full disclosure, I have zero exposure to Adobe right now. I know I talked about in previous videos how I'm getting closer to allocating because the valuation is getting so good. Good earnings per share growth, good revenue growth, but my concern right now is truly what AI means for Adobe. So what I'm planning on doing is waiting until after they report earnings coming up in a few weeks, and I will see what happens after that, because there is potential this is a value trap, but there is also potential we could get a major move on the upside in Adobe. So that's my thoughts on Adobe. Let's go to number 2 right here. It's going to be the big bad ServiceNow. If we go to ServiceNow, you can see, look at this drop right here. It's freaking insane how much ServiceNow stock is actually down. This drop from peak to trough, let me plot it for you. Peak to trough is down all the way, we'll say to go right now current, 53% down. Everyone's like, oh my God, ServiceNow is done. The stock is getting crushed. AI is going to crush them, whatever. The sentiment's bad right now. But you know, by following this channel, when sentiment's bad, we like to allocate bullishly. But are we catching a falling knife? I mean, where's the bottom going to be on this drop? It's very, very hard to know, to be honest with you. But let's just take a look fundamentally, see how the revenue is doing, how's the earnings per share going, stuff like that, the valuation. Let's check it out. Now, first thing I want to look at is this. Notice how the price earnings ratio level right now in ServiceNow is roughly 30. 30 with 26% earnings per share growth, 21% revenue growth. Clearly revenue is going up and to the right. Clearly earnings per share is going up and to the right. Clearly estimates, just like Adobe, it's very similar. Analysts are very nervous, very cautious on this one. They think AI is going to crush them, and they're guiding very soft for the estimates. Yet ServiceNow continues to beat those estimates. So this is another stock that is definitely out of style right now, in my opinion. EPS again going up and to the right. The stock is going to follow that in the long term if it does actually stay like that. So if we were to go back to the chart and plot that earnings per share growth line again, it's going to look something along the lines of this. There's a huge disconnect right now, and there's major room for upside reversion right here to the mean line of growth, which always happens in the long term. So either the stock's going to rebound very sharp like Adobe, or you're just going to see the earnings per share absolutely fall off a cliff, and the market looking forward trying to price that in right now, the market's going to be correct. In my opinion, I do think that the market's getting it wrong for Adobe and ServiceNow. I think it's being blown out of proportion. But at the same time, ServiceNow's valuation up here was definitely hot. Again, if we look at the price earnings ratio level right now, even after that 50% plus drop, it's still trading at 29 times trailing earnings, which is good. It's not amazing, but it is pretty good in my opinion. But when it was all the way up here, dude, this was trading at roughly 60 times trailing earnings. So a lot of this dip was justified. But once we got below 150, in my opinion, I feel like below 150 is where it's below intrinsic value at that point. So it is a buy down here if you think that earnings per share is going to continue to grow and AI is not going to crush this business. In my opinion, AI is not going to crush this business, but it doesn't mean the stock is going to rebound immediately. You have to have a longer duration horizon when you invest in stuff like this. This is why I only do 1 and 2 year option contracts, because you're giving time for your thesis to play out. I have no idea if this stock's going to rebound in a month. Even Adobe, I have no clue what these stocks are going to do in a month. But if I go buy a 2-year leap call option, I'm getting close to the bottom maybe, and I'm giving 2 years for my thesis to play out. Sold puts, 2 years for my thesis to play out, always longer duration option contracts. It just makes this stuff so much easier. Now let's go to the third one, which is going to be the big bad Salesforce. Salesforce on a 5-year chart is down in a 5-year period, which is pretty insane. And if we take a look at this peak to trough dip that we recently got, peak to trough, Salesforce is down 49%. Another 50% haircut for a software stock. Everyone is pricing in like ServiceNow is going to go out of business, the stock is terrible, earnings per share is going to collapse, what is going to happen going forward? If we were to plot that earnings per share growth line, ServiceNow literally looks like something like this. Again, a very big disconnect right now, and if EPS continues to grow and go up and to the right, the stock is definitely going to rebound and go like this. I promise you it's going to with time. But if earnings per share actually goes more like this and down, the market's going to be correct to try to price that in right now and be very nervous and pessimistic and say, oh my God, AI is going to crush this business, whatever. The market would then be right. In my opinion, the market's wrong right now and the market's blowing this out of proportion a little bit. But of course, we always have to look at this fundamentally to figure out where the valuation is actually at because, hey, maybe some of this drop on Salesforce is justified. Let's load it up. Here's the big bad Salesforce right here. You can see the revenue is going up and to the right. You can see the earnings per share is going up and to the right. You can see again how the analysts are pricing this out right here. Look at where they're actually reporting for the green circles right here versus the hollow ones where the estimates are at. Analysts are getting this very, very wrong right now, and all these software companies so far are proving that they're getting it wrong because they're still growing pretty good. Now, how does the valuation look? Take a look to the left. Trading at 16 times trailing earnings, with earnings per share growing at 18% year over year and revenue growing at 8% year over year. So this one is similar-ish growth to Adobe in my opinion, but my concern on Salesforce is going to be their revenue growth. And when they recently reported earnings, the revenue growth was kind of soft. Revenue growth was a little bit soft on Salesforce, a little bit soft on ServiceNow, and a little bit soft on Adobe. The reason why that revenue growth might be soft is because AI is taking a little bit of their business and their pricing power is going down. If you have a new competitor coming in with AI that could basically do the exact same thing for a cheaper price and faster and easier, that's competition for your business. And that's why when we invest in these businesses, we always want to feel like we have a moat, a durable moat, so that Apple, for example, like we all have iPhones. If Apple wanted to double the price of the iPhone right now from $1,000 to $2,000, we're all going to pay that. That is a moat. That is pricing power. That's a durable competitive advantage. That is what we want to look for when we invest in these companies. But companies with no moat, they're going to get crushed when the competition comes and takes their lunch right there. So Adobe's moat is decent in my opinion right now. ServiceNow's moat is better than Adobe in my opinion. And Salesforce moat in my opinion is kind of similar to Adobe. So my favorite so far out of the 3 that we covered, we're going to go through one more. ServiceNow is definitely my favorite right now. Even though you're paying a little bit higher valuation versus Adobe and Salesforce, I think that the growth on ServiceNow is going to be more sustainable and more durable, and the contracts that they have with their customers are very, very sticky. And hey, AI is great. AI might do something for ServiceNow's business to be to the downside, but you mean to tell me that ServiceNow is not going to try to use AI to make their business more efficient also? I think they're going to. They have agents, they have AI, they could do the exact same stuff, and their customers are already locked into their ecosystem. So I do think that ServiceNow right now is a decent opportunity to allocate. But we got to go through 2 more things. We're going to go through the last company, and then the kicker to everything right here that could basically squash all of this, and if it pans out, all of these stocks are going to continue to fall, and it's going to be pretty bad. Let's go to the 4th company. Before we do that, it's going to be the big bad Palantir. Everyone loves Palantir because, hey, They made a lot of money. Alex Karp, the CEO, is a big, proponent of the stock, the big retail investor movement that he's building behind him. Hey, great. A lot of people made a lot of money. But is this dip right here justified? Is Palantir stock justified to fall? And if we just go back to a 5-year chart, this move that the stock had was generational. A lot of people made millions, if not billions of dollars from this. If we just go back to March 20th of 2023 until the top, you could see that the stock went up 2,375%, which is pretty freaking crazy if you ask me. Now we're getting a little bit of a retracement. How much is the stock actually down from peak to trough? Roughly 33%. Is this dip justified? In my opinion, yes. But is it a buy the dip opportunity? We're going to talk about it. Because remember, not every dip is a buy. Like, let me just plot the theoretical earnings per share growth line on Palantir right here. If the earnings per share growth line looks something like this on Palantir, even though you got the drop rate here from, 33% peak to trough, you're still buying in above intrinsic value, in my opinion. So you as a retail investor, you have to understand this stuff and be able to fundamentally value these companies to know if you're getting it at a good price. Good price, hold for the long term, give time for earnings per share to grow, you're going to do very, very well. Now down here, when earnings per share was up here and the stock price was down here, yes, you caught a very big move in the stock and it went up. But now you are seeing the stock still above the earnings per share growth line. Is it a buy right now, or do we wait for a deeper dip? Let's talk about it. So if we take a look at Palantir's price earnings ratio level on a trailing basis, 180. But look at this revenue growth. Look at this earnings per share growth. It's very, very strong. I can't debate that. It's really, really good. But I'm going to be honest with you right now. This stock is just a little bit too expensive for me. Actually, a lot too expensive for me. I am not willing to pay 180 times trailing earnings when I could basically grab Nvidia right now at 45 times trailing earnings, and it's very, very similar growth. Why not just go buy Nvidia for a fraction of the valuation, and you're basically getting the same upside exposure potentially? That's exactly what I'm going to do. Of course, you can see their revenue is going parabolic. Their earnings per share is going parabolic. They're beating estimates. They're doing very, very good. But again, price is what you pay and value is what you get. And I just think that, doing the water bottle example right here, you're buying this water bottle for $180 and it's throwing off $1 per year in profit. You might not even see an ROI on your initial investment in your entire lifetime. That's basically how this is going down, because us as investors, just pretend when you're buying a share, you're buying the entire company outright. Do you want to pay $180 for anything that only generates $1 per year in profits? Oh, well, Brandon, the earnings per share is growing really good. Yeah, it's growing 83% per year, but the stock is also going up too. I get it right now, it's correcting a little bit, and this correction is totally justified. But I can't allocate to Palantir right now, even though I freaking love the company. Great company. I think they have a moat. They have pricing power. They're doing very, very good. But it's just too expensive for me to allocate right now. And I do think we're going to get volatility to be able to capitalize cheaper. Now, let's talk about the one thing that crashes the entire party. By the way, my favorite out of the four right now is going to be ServiceNow. ServiceNow is something that I have my eyes on, and I'm not allocated to any of these directly, by the way. I'm allocated via ETFs and stuff like that, but I'm not allocated directly. But this is a thing that's going to bring the party down 100% if it actually pans out. And it's going to be that the overall S&P and NASDAQ falls. If the S&P falls, based on looking at this valuation level, it should. If the S&P falls 10, 15, even 20%, maybe more, it's going to bring all these software stocks down with it. The sentiment right now is already bad enough on the software stocks. If we get the S&P to fall 20% and the NASDAQ to fall 20%, it's going to be even worse. And right now, looking at the valuation level, this is a little bit hot, being at roughly 21 or 22 times forward earnings for the S&P 500. And when you factor in an expensive S&P on top of an expensive Palantir, it's hard to have a really good margin of safety when you allocate to this. Again, good company, but I don't think you're getting a good price. Salesforce, decent company, decent moat, good price, decent growth, but my concern on Salesforce is going to be the slow revenue growth. I do think that AI is cutting into their business a little bit. If we go to Adobe, good company. I don't know if they have a really good moat right now, and that's okay to not know. I'm going to wait until they report earnings to figure that out. Now, revenue growth is okay, earnings per share growth is okay, but the valuation is crazy cheap on Adobe right now. So again, I think this one has the most asymmetric upside risk and, downside risk, I guess. This is the highest risk, high reward is a better way to say it for Adobe. But ServiceNow is one that I feel like is the safest, most conservative, most reliable bet if you want to make it right now. If you were to buy 2-year leap call options or sell 2-year, portfolio secure puts, take the cash flow, go buy some calls, go buy some shares, I think you'll do okay as long as the overall S&P and Nasdaq do not crash, which they totally could. Again, why longer duration contracts matter, because you're giving more time for your thesis to play out. So that's a video right there. Hope you got value from it. Software stocks are down a lot. Some could rebound a lot. Some maybe could keep going down, like Palantir potentially. With that being said, ensure that you know what you own, at what price, hold it for the long term, and you'll probably do fine if you did your research correctly. Watch this video right here if you want to learn how to build your portfolio step by step in a way that's going to work in any market condition. I'll see you guys there.